Logan Paul and the Prime Energy parody. In the Not Suitable for Children special, South Park targeted Logan Paul and his Prime Energy drink collaboration. The episode opens with a musical number directly parodying the viral We Got Prime Boys video.
Red, bitches, we got red! Our teeth are blue, bitches, our tongues are red!
Which in reality had been boosted by Logan Paul himself. In South Park's version, every child at South Park Elementary proudly displays their cred bottles, mirroring the real-life hype cycle around Prime. The lyrics highlight the drink's harmful nutritional profile, making it clear that the writers are positioning themselves against the product while lampooning the mindless consumerism driving its popularity. The plot introduces Clyde, who is the only student without a cred bottle because his father and stepmother refuse to let him drink it due to its poor health value. Afraid of social isolation, Clyde resorts to buying an empty cred bottle and filling it with apple juice.
I've got cred, bitches. I've got cred. I've got cred, bitches.
This act parallels real-world incidents of counterfeit Prime sales, which became a documented problem in 2022 to 2023, with some resellers charging exorbitant prices for fake products. South Park amplifies this by referencing resale prices as high as $80 per bottle, mocking influencer-backed scarcity tactics. Running alongside this is Randy Marsh's storyline. At a town meeting, the art teacher's $10,000 per week earnings from a premium fans account inspire Randy to start one himself, disregarding the effect on his family. Sharon retaliates by starting her own account and outperforming him, prompting Randy to tie his online content to cred reviews. In one of the most absurd satirical beats, he pours bottles of cred down his pants on camera, a jab at YouTubers and influencers who use outlandish stunts to review trending products for clout. The episode escalates when Logan Lou, a stand-in for Logan Paul, advertises a limited Mega Cred flavor, causing children to physically fight over stock in scenes resembling Black Friday riots. Clyde ultimately confronts his friends, explaining how influencers manipulate scarcity to create demand, a direct commentary on manufactured hype cycles in online marketing. This plotline is capped by Randy attempting to auction himself as an influencer to various bidders, including foreign governments, as a metaphor for creators willing to sell out to the highest bidder regardless of ethics or audience impact. Kanye West, Fish Sticks episode. The Fish Sticks episode centers on a simple pun-based joke, asking someone if they like putting fish sticks in their mouth, then labeling them a gay fish when they answer yes.
Say, Eric, do you like fish sticks? Yeah? You like putting fish sticks in your mouth? Yeah?
In the storyline, Jimmy inadvertently creates the joke, but Carlos Mencia takes credit for it. This subplot reflects real-life accusations that Mencia frequently stole material from other comedians. South Park escalates the parody by having Kanye West hear the joke and completely fail to understand it, interpreting it as a personal attack on his masculinity rather than a wordplay gag. The episode portrays Kanye as obsessively defensive, insisting to everyone that he is not a gay fish and delivering overblown monologues about his genius.
You're a gay fish.
His inability to grasp the pun is played repeatedly, driving home the satire on celebrity ego and the inability to self-reflect. Eventually, convinced Mencia started the rumor, Kanye kidnaps him. This leads to a scene where Mencia admits he stole the joke but pleads for mercy, a moment that parodies both the public's accusations of joke theft and the celebrity spectacle of settling personal feuds in the public eye. In the climax, Kanye embraces the gay fish identity in an elaborate musical sequence, singing about his love for fish sticks while swimming underwater in a surreal, self-romanticized fantasy.
And why haters joked around, I wanted to be free with other creatures like me, and now I got my wish, 'cause I know that I'm a gay fish.
This absurd transformation highlights South Park's tendency to push a celebrity parody to its most extreme, ridiculous endpoint. In real life, Carlos Mencia later said he initially found the parody funny and even wished he had been asked to voice his own character. However, he admitted he was blindsided by the intensity of public reaction, noting that the episode amplified the narrative of him as a joke thief. Kanye West's reaction was less good-natured. He referenced the episode in multiple songs, including a leaked version of Life of the Party, and continued to express irritation over it. Publicly, it remained clear that he still did not fully get the joke, making the satire more enduring. Paris Hilton, Stupid Spoiled Whore Video Playset. In Stupid Spoiled Whore Video Playset, South Park satirizes Paris Hilton's mid-2000s fame and the cultural influence she held over young girls. The episode opens with Hilton visiting South Park to launch a store selling merchandise designed to help girls emulate her lifestyle.
Like me, stupid spoiled whore.
The products, including skank perfume and the titular playset, reference her tabloid reputation, public partying, and leaked sex tape. Within the storyline, all the town's girls except Wendy idolize her, quickly adopting her values of promiscuity, vanity, and materialism. The parody escalates as Hilton takes an interest in Butters, dressing him in a bear costume, renaming him Mr. Biggles, and offering his parents $250 million to buy him. His parents agree without hesitation.
Chris, is she serious?
Butters, why don't you take Paris up to your room for a little while? Mommy and Daddy have to talk.
Highlighting the show's critique of how fame and money can override moral responsibility. The conflict culminates in a bizarre contest between Hilton and Mr. Slave, a physically absurd and graphic sequence that symbolically pits vapid celebrity culture against exaggerated depravity. Mr. Slave wins, and Hilton leaves town humiliated. The satire extends to one particularly shocking moment in which Hilton's dog, Tinkerbell, is shown being shot, directly targeting the sentimental celebrity pet image she often projected. In real life, Hilton admitted that this scene, along with depictions of her vomiting and coughing up bodily fluids, made her feel sick. While she initially avoided commenting on the episode, she later said she took the parody as a form of flattery, though her memoir frames it as evidence of how invasive and cruel the show could be. The South Park creators, however, doubled down in interviews, with Matt Stone suggesting her relatively calm reaction only reinforced how messed up she was. The episode remains one of the show's most pointed celebrity takedowns, framing Hilton not just as a target, but as a symbol of an entire era's shallow, fame-driven values. Meghan Markle and Prince Harry, Worldwide Privacy Tour. In Worldwide Privacy Tour, South Park satirizes the Duke and Duchess of Sussex's public image following their withdrawal from royal duties. The episode introduces fictionalized versions of the couple, renamed the Prince and Princess of Canada, who embark on a global publicity campaign while insisting they want privacy. This contradiction becomes the central target of the parody, portraying them as attention-seeking while simultaneously complaining about media intrusion. The satire plays out through repeated public stunts by the couple, media interviews, talk show appearances, and brand promotion, all under the banner of rejecting publicity. The writers frame this as a cycle where the characters can't escape the spotlight because they continually place themselves back in it. Their Worldwide Privacy Tour becomes a running gag, complete with banners, merchandise, and carefully staged events that mimic the aesthetics of a media brand launch. A subplot critiques personal branding itself, showing how the pair's desire to control their narrative turns them into marketable products. In one exchange, the prince realizes that transforming themselves into a brand has stripped away their authenticity, yet the episode suggests they remain trapped in the very system they claim to reject.
And do we? If it's truly what we want, then we really can get away from it all. No more magazines and Netflix shows. We really can live a normal life.
The humor leans heavily on exaggerating their public personas into cartoonish self-parodies, underscoring themes of hypocrisy and performative victimhood. Reports after the episode aired claimed that Meghan Markle was upset and overwhelmed by the portrayal. Media outlets speculated about potential legal action, though no such case emerged. Sources also suggested that the couple's team intended to monitor future episodes for further mockery. The segment quickly became a trending talking point online, cementing its place among South Park's most high-profile celebrity conflicts in recent years. Sarah Jessica Parker, The Tale of Scrotie McBoogerballs. In The Tale of Scrotie McBoogerballs, South Park uses Sarah Jessica Parker as a recurring visual punchline in a broader satire about censorship, controversy, and public interpretation of art. The episode's main plot follows the boys writing an intentionally offensive book to mock the hypocrisy of adults who pretend to condemn vulgarity while secretly consuming it. When the book becomes a cultural phenomenon, different groups assign their own political or social interpretations to it, regardless of the author's intent. Parker's role in the episode is almost entirely as a target for gratuitous mockery of her physical appearance. Characters repeatedly call her ugly, and she is depicted in an exaggeratedly unflattering animation style. The gag escalates when the book supposedly contains a scene in which her butt cheese ends up in a milkshake.
Oh yeah, then why does Sarah Jessica Parker's butt cheese end up in Scrotie's milkshake?
A surreal and deliberately juvenile insult that has nothing to do with the plot's larger themes. The satire here operates on two levels. First, the book's shifting interpretations represent how audiences project their own agendas onto media. Second, Parker's treatment is a meta-example of South Park's nothing is off-limits philosophy, even when the target is not relevant to the main message. In real life, Matthew Broderick, Parker's husband, publicly defended her, stating that mocking someone's looks was wrong and insisting she was beautiful. The creators of South Park pushed back in interviews, stating that their writer's room operates on the principle that anyone and anything can be mocked if it serves the joke. Parker herself has not issued a detailed public comment on the episode, which has allowed it to stand as one of the more controversial examples of South Park, singling out an individual for repeated personal insults. Jennifer Lopez, Fat Butt and Pancake Head. In Fat Butt and Pancake Head, South Park parodies pop star Jennifer Lopez through one of Cartman's most infamous bits, using his hand as a puppet to impersonate her. The episode begins with the school hosting a cultural diversity day where students are meant to respectfully present on different ethnicities. Cartman instead debuts Jennifer Lopez, a crudely drawn face on his hand that speaks in an exaggerated accent, eats tacos, and sings about taco-flavored kisses.
Taco, don't think just because I got a lot of money, I'll give you taco-flavored kisses, honey. Fulfill all your wishes with my taco-flavored kisses. Taco, burrito, taco.
The parody escalates when Cartman's puppet persona gains national fame, releasing a hit song and securing a music deal. The real Jennifer Lopez in the episode is pushed out of the spotlight by her puppet counterpart, leading to increasingly absurd confrontations. The satire skewers both stereotypes in entertainment and the music industry's willingness to embrace almost any persona if it can be monetized. The humor also plays on the idea of identity and authenticity, with the fictional music executives being oblivious or indifferent to whether Jennifer Lopez is a real person, as long as the brand is profitable. By having Cartman's hand outperform the actual celebrity, the episode amplifies its critique of superficial fame and the replaceability of pop culture figures. In real life, there were rumors, never officially confirmed, that the parody caused friction between Lopez and her record label, particularly over its crude nature and ethnic caricature. While Lopez herself did not publicly engage in a detailed response, the episode remains one of the show's most widely remembered celebrity send-ups, especially for its shock value and the staying power of the taco-flavored kisses gag. Barbra Streisand, Mecha-Streisand. In Mecha-Streisand, South Park transforms singer and actress Barbra Streisand into a literal kaiju, parodying Japanese monster films like Godzilla. The plot begins when the boys discover a mysterious ancient artifact, the Triangle of Zinthar, which Streisand desires. Upon obtaining it, she morphs into Mecha-Streisand, a towering robotic version of herself that terrorizes South Park. The satire operates on two levels. First, it's an absurd, cartoonish send-up of celebrity self-importance, turning a famous performer into a city-destroying monster who believes she is entitled to control everything. Second, it's a meta-commentary on Streisand's real-life reputation at the time for being outspoken, litigious, and often combative with the press. By exaggerating her into a sci-fi villain, the episode makes her seem both ridiculous and threatening. The storyline escalates into a giant monster battle, with Robert Smith of The Cure appearing as a Mothra-like savior to defeat her. This surreal crossover cements the episode as one of South Park's earliest and most elaborate celebrity parodies. In real life, Streisand publicly condemned the episode, calling it childish and vulgar, and criticized the show for being mean-spirited. Her pushback inadvertently gave the episode more publicity, a phenomenon later dubbed the Streisand effect, the idea that trying to suppress something often draws more attention to it. South Park's creators would go on to reference and mock Streisand multiple times in later seasons, making her one of their most enduring celebrity adversaries. Tom Cruise, Trapped in the Closet. In Trapped in the Closet, South Park combines a satire of Scientology with a direct parody of Tom Cruise's public image. The episode begins with Stan being hailed by Scientologists as the reincarnation of L. Ron Hubbard. When Stan refuses to acknowledge Cruise's acting as great, Cruise takes offense and literally locks himself in Stan's bedroom closet, refusing to come out. This visual gag becomes the central joke, playing off both the idiom about coming out of the closet and tabloid speculation about Cruise's private life.
Mr. Cruise, you can't just stay in the closet, all right? You need to come out.
What's going on?
Tom Cruise won't come out of the closet.
What?
Just leave me alone.
Well, we can't leave you alone because you won't come out of the closet.
As the plot unfolds, a stream of celebrities, including John Travolta and R. Kelly, join Cruise in the closet, each arrival escalating the absurdity. Alongside the physical gag, the episode explains the core tenets of Scientology in an on-screen presentation labeled with "This is what Scientologists actually believe," reinforcing its commitment to mocking the religion's origin story without softening the satire. The humor targets Cruz in two ways: as a symbol of Scientology's celebrity influence and as a self-serious public figure unwilling to take criticism. The repeated "Tom, come out of the closet" dialogue turns into a relentless refrain, making the scene increasingly ridiculous while highlighting his stubbornness. In real life, reports surfaced that Cruz was displeased with the episode, with some media outlets alleging he pressured Paramount, parent company of Comedy Central, to pull reruns, especially around the release of Mission: Impossible 3. While Comedy Central temporarily pulled the episode from rotation, it later returned, and Trapped in the Closet became one of South Park's most famous and controversial celebrity episodes, cementing Cruz as a long-term target for the show's writers. Do you know the most legally dangerous episode that South Park aired? Then click here.